He wore leotards and tights to stadiums of 70,000 people. He wore a crown and a fur-trimmed cape on stage in 1986. He rebuilt his entire identity from flamboyant theatrical glam to leather and moustache masculine, and both versions were completely, utterly authentic. Freddie Mercury had the most fearless wardrobe in rock history. Not the most expensive. Not the most technically complex. The most fearless. This is Style Breakdown, Freddie Mercury. Before Freddie Mercury there was Farrokh Bulsara. Born in Zanzibar to Parsi Indian parents. Boarding school in India. Then Middlesex, England, as a refugee from the Zanzibar Revolution. Art school at Ealing College of Art. This is crucial. Freddie had a fine arts education. He understood visual composition, color theory, theatrical design. His fashion choices weren't instinctive in the way a rock musician stumbling into a look might be. They were designed by someone who understood visual art. Early Queen. 1973 to 1975. Freddie in velvet. Layers of it. Black velvet trousers with a draped velvet top. Arm warmers. Tattered scarves. Pre-Raphaelite romanticism, you could see the Keats and Shelley in the look. Long dark hair swept back. This was Freddie's art school self on stage, the poetic romantic, the slightly tragic aesthete who would also scream at you. The contradiction was the point. Beautiful and aggressive simultaneously. That tension was Queen's entire early identity. 1977, the Leotard. Freddie Mercury wearing a dancer's leotard and tights to rock audiences of tens of thousands. Let's understand how extraordinary this was. In 1977, no male rock star wore a leotard on stage. The visual language of masculine rock was leather, denim, boots. Freddie chose the clothing of ballet and gymnastics, form-fitting, physically revealing, classically feminine in context. And he wore it with absolute authority. Not as provocation for its own sake. As the most practical costume for what he was doing, moving his body in ways no other rock singer moved. The leotard was honest. It said, "This body is the instrument." Freddie's most important fashion relationship, Zandra Rhodes. Britain's most important fashion designer of the 70s. Rhodes designed custom pieces for Freddie throughout the late 70s, the draped printed garments, the asymmetric cuts, the signature floating panels. Zandra Rhodes was dressing rock royalty. What Freddie understood, and few others did, was that rock concert fashion could aspire to haute couture. That the stage was a runway. That a pop concert was as valid a venue for high fashion as Paris Fashion Week. This understanding came from art school. And it changed what rock fashion could be. The Harlequin black and white bodysuit. Designed for the 1977 News of the World Tour. Black and white diamond pattern, Commedia dell'arte tradition. The Harlequin character, trickster, performer, outsider who comments on the performance from within it. Freddie was choosing his costume archetype deliberately. He was the Harlequin. The performer who knows his performing, who plays with that knowing, who winks at the audience while utterly committing to the spectacle. The pattern also worked architecturally. The diamonds created visual extension on the body, making the already extraordinary physical stage presence even larger at distance. 1980, the Game album. The Moustache appears. And the entire visual identity of Freddie Mercury transforms overnight. The velvet romantic is gone. The theatrical feminine is gone. In their place, leather, tight jeans, capital moustache. The clone look from the gay bars of New York and San Francisco. Hypermasculine signifiers chosen deliberately and defiantly. This was a coming out through costume. Not explicitly, Freddie never made a formal statement about his sexuality until very near the end. But the look said everything that words didn't. And his audiences, wherever they were on the spectrum, understood immediately. July 13, 1985. Live Aid. Wembley Stadium. The greatest rock performance in history, most people who were there agree. What was Freddie wearing? Yellow jacket. White jeans. White vest underneath. That's it. Simple. Almost casual. No theatrical costume. No leotard. No leather. Just a man in a bright jacket commanding the world. The yellow was the most important choice. Against blue sky and green pitch. Yellow reads from mile away. It was practically a high-visibility jacket. But more yellow is the confidence color. The look at me color. For the biggest performance of his life, Freddie chose to be unmissable. 1986, The Magic Tour. Queen's last tour with Freddie. And the fashion goes to maximum theatrical excess. Freddie in a crown. An actual crown. And a fur-trimmed royal cape. On stage in front of stadiums. This is Queen's imperial moment. The band was selling out stadiums across Europe, drawing their largest audiences ever. And Freddie dressed for the scale of it. He was claiming the title literally. Not rock star. King. And audiences who came to rock concerts stood in a field watching a man in a crown and thought, yes. Obviously. Of course. Freddie Mercury's moustache deserves its own fashion analysis. He grew it in 1980. He kept it until the end. It completely transformed his face and therefore every costume he wore. The pre-moustache Freddie had a specific face, delicate, wide-eyed, almost androgynous. The moustache Freddie had a different face entirely, defined, masculine, commanding. The moustache changed what clothing could communicate. The leather reads differently on that face. The crown reads differently on that face. An accessory you grow, but it's still an accessory. Fashion theorists call this performative masculinity construction. Freddie called it Tuesday. Here's what makes Freddie Mercury unique in fashion history. His body was itself a costume. The way he moved, arms wide, hips forward, that extraordinary physical confidence, transformed every garment he wore. A white leotard on someone who moved timidly would have been tragic. On Freddie, it was triumphant. Fashion designers understand this. The same garment reads completely differently depending on how the body inside it behaves. Freddie's physical vocabulary, the poses, the gestures, the stillness followed by explosion made every outfit more than the sum of its fabric. He wore the clothes. The clothes never wore him. The final years. Freddie was ill. He knew it. The fashion in this period is the most interesting of all from a fashion theory perspective. You might expect retreat, safer choices, less physicality. Instead, deeper color, richer fabric, Baroque brocade, embroidered velvet. Going back to the early romanticism but with maximum richness. As if the theatrical excess of the Magic Tour era was being distilled into something more intimate. Every garment feels chosen with the awareness that there might not be many more choices. Fashion as biography. Fashion as farewell. What did Freddie Mercury change in fashion? He proved that a male performer could wear anything and be taken seriously as a rock musician. He expanded what masculinity could look like on a stadium stage. He brought high fashion aspiration to rock concert dressing. He demonstrated that the performer's body and movement are the most important fashion elements of all. Every male pop star who performs in something unexpected today, Harry Styles, Bad Bunny, Lil Nas X, walks through a door that Freddie Mercury opened. With a Harlequin bodysuit and absolute confidence. That style breakdown, Freddie Mercury. From velvet romanticism to leather to crown to brocade farewell. A man who wore everything and made all of it inevitable. The most fearless wardrobe in rock history. Next episode, Madonna, the artist who rebuilt fashion culture from the inside and made an empire from shock, sequins, and sheer sartorial intelligence. Subscribe. Hit the bell. Which Freddie era is your favorite? I read every comment.